Welcome to episode 247 of the Emergent Gamer Podcast. My name is Felix Herg. Fucked up my own name.
Why don't you start over?
I'm not going to start over. Fuck that. Who am I here?
This is because you're like, here's a welcome to the Emergent Gamer Podcast. You're just trying so hard, man.
I did so well, and then fucked up my own name. This is Felix Hergood, and I'm here with
Neo Ayoshi.
and
Trip Zero. I'm like, is he gonna say our name? Is he gonna just fucking make us wing
I'm not
going
to say your names. I'm giving that up to you.
We're here.
This
We're
is
back.
how I do
Hello
the
again.
show, bitches. This is how I
It's
do the
true.
show.
It's true. If you're bringing it in, it's your rules.
So we got a bunch of things we're going to talk about. Some of maybe just one news point, but we all have been stuck in quarantine, and all of us are just playing games. That's what we're doing.
Sucks.
There was a huge drop in my life. There was a huge drop in Trip and Neo's life. Games that we love, in other words. That's what I mean by a drop. And we just want to discuss the games that we love.
But first, I need to talk about something.
You talk about it. I want you to talk about it.
What's the
I am
thing?
now.
Talk about it.
I am now on day 56 of not getting a haircut. And
You
my
know,
God,
you know the number.
Come on, man. It's
I
coming up.
I remember my last appointment. Yeah, I do. And my beard I've let grow out, and I'm like real Wolverine right now. I'm feeling the Wolverine.
Yeah, you're
channeling
definitely
him.
you're like Jackman and like maybe like
See, like,
X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not like Logan yet, but you're X.
I could gel
you're
my
all-
hair and do the Wolverine points. I
Oh
could do
wow, that would be cool.
100%
You
do
should
that. Maybe I'll do that for the next show.
next week. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I just had to give that
Rip it.
update because my God, I really want to cut my hair.
Yeah. So we just want to talk about stuff. I think you guys are really chomping at the bit to talk about this Final Fantasy thing. And
Oh yeah, dude.
Just some little game.
yeah,
little tiny game.
and I think you should probably
tiny small release.
I definitely think my news, one of the updates I want to give is for Resident Evil 3. That would go better toward the end, to lead into us talking about
the news.
some of the news. So
Cool.
I'll definitely go last.
Why don't I start with like Valorant? How about
Yeah,
that?
let's talk
Yeah,
about
go for
Valorant.
it.
That's perfect.
Is that cool? Just get that out of the way.
I watched your
So we could do
gameplay.
Valorant. You do Valorant, RE3, then Final Fantasy, right? Just to kind of like.
I see what he wanted to do. He wanted to
So that-
transition RE3 into the news because
That's
Oh,
what I was
oh,
thinking.
yeah,
Yeah,
then-
because
okay,
there's a
okay.
news point about
Cool.
Resident Evil.
Cool.
yeah.
I'm cool. With it.
So tell us
So
about Valorant. I did watch your gameplay.
Yeah. So what did you think of it?
I mean,
Not your kind of game.
when it comes down to it, I'm never going to understand the appeal of repetitive shooting. I just don't
Yeah.
get it. It's
Mhm.
just me. It's just me. I appreciate people who are passionate about any video game. So if you love this repetitive shooter, I encourage you to play it. What do you think of it? Because you play them a lot.
I do, and like a lot of my gaming roots are in like Quake and Counter-Strike. That's like where my roots are.
Yeah, right.
Back in the day in competitive shootings, and this is very much a game in the vein of Counter-Strike. Everything's round based. You die during a round, you wait for the match to end, and then you reset
Did I
and you
see
start over.
Did I see destructive walls?
So yes and no. The walls can be shot through, and depends on the material you are shooting through. So let me get into like the depth of the gameplay and how this game is like laid out. So it is laid out like Counter-Strike, more or less, where you have Team A and Team B, and you have a defender and you have the attackers. So the attackers have a bomb with which to plant. They call it the spike. You plant it in one of the many bomb sites on the map, usually 2, sometimes 3. And you take this and you're attacking the other team, and they're defending. They're trying to figure out which one you're going to go to and attack. And that's pretty much the way matches are laid out. You look confused.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The question I was going to ask is, how similar is this to Rainbow Six?
Pretty similar, actually. And Rainbow Six takes a lot of cues from Counter-Strike as well, more or less. Just the way the matches are laid out. You have
Okay.
like the terrorists versus the, police, I guess. I don't know. Whoever's
I'm
Two
gonna-
teams
guys,
of,
bad guys.
I assume you're two teams
SWAT
of
team.
6? 2 teams of 6?
It's 6, yeah. 6 or 5 on Valorant, I think. Yeah. But either way, so that's how the matches are laid out. And what you do in the beginning of every match is you have currency that you are provided like in the game when you do well or not. And you buy your weapons for each round. And depending on how much money you have, you can buy armor, you can buy, submachine guns, assault rifles, snipers, shotguns. It just does like whatever. So like the game quickly becomes a meta of like, okay, round one, can't buy a whole lot. So we're going to buy nice pistols and we're going to move in that way. Maybe next round we save our money again that round so we can buy better guns the third round. So it depends on your positioning. So like if you're starting to do really well in a match early on, then you can kind of like tailor your strategy to what weapons you want to buy. That also depends on how good you are at each round, because you get more money by surviving the round and not dying, or even winning the round is also
the money you earn. Does that ever get banked, or is it always lost at the end of whatever?
So once you switch sides in the match, because the rounds are like, these matches are really long. They can go upwards of like 40 minutes of just going back and forth. But after at the halftime, you guys swap sides, and then you become the attackers become the defenders, right? And then all of your money that round gets lost. So like even the characters in the game will say like, last round before switching sides, better spend it all. Like just drop all your money on the good shit. Another part of this game that makes it more unique to Counter-Strike is the addition of character classes. So each character has unique abilities and skills that will assist you in the game.
And that aligns with how Siege works, because that has character classes.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And there's a lot of them in Siege, but these ones are more akin to like fantasy-ish Overwatch characters, kind of.
Oh.
Like you have a character called Viper whose abilities, like she has her own mechanic where she retains toxins, and you have like a toxin wall that you can turn on and off, and once you run out of toxin, and you have to wait for it to recharge on your character to redeploy it. But I haven't played her, so let me talk about the ones that I have played as. All right, so you have a Hanzo-like guy named Sova. He's got a bow and arrow that can fire a tracking dart with a bow, and you can set it to bounce off walls, which is pretty cool. So you can bounce it into rooms and down hallways, and that will send a ping out so you can see where the enemy is. And the enemies can shoot the bolt if they see it, so they can stop getting tracked. He's also got I'm going to confuse a lot of these abilities because they all kind of run together in my head. His special is kind of a Hanzo-like special, where Hanzo will fire a giant dragon that will go through walls. So he's got something like that. He'll fire 3 plasma arrows that will go through walls, and you can use that if you, let's say, like you can combine these skills in ways that are like, okay, I can track the enemy, I can see them through the walls. Okay, let me pop out my super and hit them with that through the walls. I'm trying to remember his other skills right now, but I'm having a hard time remembering them. Oh my god, I should have written this all down.
Here's a
Go ahead.
Yes, here's a better question, or I don't know if this is a relevant question. Let me know. This question sucks. How does this game coming in? Are people playing this because this is just what's the it game? This is the it game right now. Are people,
according to Riot's marketing, yes, it is the it game right now.
But are people playing it because it's somehow redefining the genre?
People do believe this is going to be like the next big competitive shooter, something that can like unseat even like Counter-Strike as being like a really like top tier players will play this, because
people are still playing Counter-Strike.
Oh, of course. Right. But the skill ceiling for games like this, they're so high. Like you need to be really good at the strategy, the shooting, and everything just to make it in this game. And let me tell you, it's really hard to be good at this game. Just the shooting part of it.
But to answer your question, I feel like they're playing this kind of to both, but it's not just because it's like the newest game that's out and we're all in quarantine. Like this game has been hyped up for a long time, and you're always worried about that when it happens, because you're like, is this actually going to is it going to flop and fail, or is it going to live up to it? But people have been wanting a game that has less randomness in it, has more specific counterplay between characters, more accurate gunfights, more strategic gameplay, like things that can actually be an esport based game. And this game has been delivering all of that, honestly, and more, and such a solid delivery.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need that, because a lot of the games recently attempted esports. The only one to break free was what, Overwatch?
They've done it, but they forced. I feel like they forced themselves in that position by dumping a lot of money into that. They dumped a lot of money into their over esports league, and
for sure,
and thrusted itself into that spotlight. but I'm not. That's not me discouraging them from doing that. That's a good way of doing that. That's how you get people to watch your game and play it to be competitive at it, right? They're doing a similar thing to this by like this game has literally taken over Twitch. All major streamers are playing it right now, and it has to do a lot with the marketing strategies that they're using. Because in order to get into this game and play it right now, you have to watch a Twitch streamer with
I heard
their
that.
drops enabled. Yeah, go ahead.
Just something else to call out for Felix to see where they're going with this game. Riot is the same developer as League of Legends, which is one of the most popular esports games in the world.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's one of the.
This is their product. This is
that
their
that I didn't
product.
know. Thank you for the context.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't guess at like right at the gate that they'd be able to make such a good shooting game from where they came from, but they really have.
A long-time listener, first-time caller, Trip Zero.
Yeah. But overall, like even though I'm not great at this game, like by any stretch of the imagination, I can see its potential, and I can tell you it is a very good game to be very good at and competitive at. Just from like an overall like just like the broad sense of like how the game operates and how it plays. But yeah, I'm having a really good time with it. I'm playing with some new characters that are they're all really fun. They're all really unique and fun, and all their skills are like one character is like surveillance based. You can plant cameras around, set tripwires. You can create lots of smoke. Like a lot of these characters will have like you'll smoke areas, so you'll have to force teams to redirect their push. Like it's all very cool how like matches will play out because of all the characters' unique abilities, and it's really a lot of fun to like get into the nitty gritty of that.
Is there a plan to do a console version? Not that I necessarily will buy
Not
it.
that I've heard.
Just asking.
Yeah, if they do, that might be a while away because this game isn't even out on PC yet. Like technically.
Oh,
yeah, I feel like they want to optimize the experience, and it's hard to do that. Not hard, but like it's a very accurate based game that's not really a console player's bread and butter for gun accuracy. I feel like they have to introduce like aim assist and things like that, which is not in the game.
There's 100%
right now.
zero aim assist, and it's very challenging in that regard.
So this is in alpha?
Beta.
Beta.
The beta.
Like it's a rolling beta, I think, until they said this summer is going to be the main release at some point.
Cool.
So yeah, and if you watch me streaming it at all, I have drops enabled. So if you watch it, you might get a key. I don't know how that works.
Which we can talk about later. Interestingly, they didn't start that way, but
no, they did not.
But there was some backlash in the Twitch communities about what that was doing to the directory.
Where do those keys show up?
If you link your Riot account to Twitch, then you'll get a notification and you'll get an email.
Just an account entitlement, essentially. Like as long as your account is linked to Twitch, they randomly flag accounts as having access. So you don't have to input a key, you don't have to like follow anything through. They're called keys and drops because it's easier to make sense of. But like as long as your account is paired with Riot and Twitch, you watch a streamer with drops enabled, at some point your account will just be entitled to access the beta.
Yeah, and not to mention, I've seen a lot of posts online, like either bashing or praising the marketing. Like I've seen it go both ways at this point. Most people, the argument against their marketing is it's forcing people to watch their game, which is the idea of marketing, right? Like that's a positive thing that they did. They figured out a good way to get people in streams to watch the game. But at the same time, it's also creating massive amounts of FOMO for people who want to play the game. And a lot of sour people about that, which is still good, right? You want people to want to play your game.
I think the biggest problem with how they rolled it out at first was like people were not watching streamers that did not have drops enabled.
Yep.
You had some big name players that were playing this game that weren't enrolled in the program at first to give drops, and that was driving traffic away from their channels.
Yep. Yeah, that's a huge. Yeah, it was pretty much
because you want to play the game, so you're like, well, I'm not going to support the person I like to watch. I'm going to find someone else to stream because I can maybe earn this game. And usually they were all bigger. Yeah.
How were people? Sorry, I really want to understand this. This is interesting.
Sure.
Oh, totally.
How were people who were watching knowing that was a stream?
There's a little green word under like the title of the stream that says drops enabled, and you'll see that text.
Yeah, it's like there's a tag there.
Provided by the game.
Just through your Twitch integration.
Oh, but so like Twitch integration.
Yeah. Yeah. So these accounts, they were given access at first, of course, have to link their own broadcaster accounts with Riot, and that'll make it pop up on their stream almost like I think it was around where category is right now on Twitch, somewhere around there. You'll see like a big green like drops enabled for this game.
Okay.
That's how you know.
Yep. But that's Valorant. It's a game you'll probably see me play a lot more. Our Discord's, as we all get access to the game, we're all playing it right now. Locke is playing it. I wanted to have him on tonight to talk about it more too, because he's honestly, like, I played with him last night. He's freaking pretty great at the game, even though not by like pro standards, but like he's like very, I'm not gonna say that. He's very enjoyable to watch because he's very skilled at the game. And once you get a good strategy going, it feels really good to play. But hopefully we'll have him on soon to talk about it.
I will tell you one of the reasons I think competitive shooters are the highest ranked Twitch, like, and in terms of entertainment. Not only is it like competitive and people want to see the competition, very much like going to a big football match, whatever. The other reason is when you watch it on Twitch or watch it on Mixer, it's incredibly easy to digest it. Like, you know you don't need to understand complicated mechanics. You don't have to get the streamer to explain to you, how does this game work? You just see somebody.
Dota and League are very hard to watch on that respect. Yeah.
Right. Like, but the reason why competitive shooters I think are the top on Twitch, Mixer, whatever, and why people are always trying to promote them and why people are always streaming them is because somebody can sit and watch. I realize this with myself. It's easier for me to watch you play Valorant than it is for me to watch somebody play a more complicated game like, I don't know, City Skylines, something like that. If I've never played the game. Now, there is a merit to somebody coming in and wanting to see a game that they know the mechanics of and wanting to see it. But I think that's more rare than somebody who can just easily flip on a streamer who plays match after match after match, and you can just digest that and understand it and know what's going on.
Yeah, I think Valorant is as digestible, maybe a little bit more, but like it's near on par with like Rocket League in terms of watchability. You don't need to understand a lot. No,
I had no problem following Neo
with Overwatch. Obviously, like we were saying, League of Legends and Dota and all those things are very, very intensive to watch, very mechanic heavy. Even something like Hearthstone, which is a card game, that's impossible to watch unless you understand the rules of the game and what they're doing.
Cannot watch.
And that's still a pretty big esport in its own right,
I tried.
So this is a good entry.
El Platano Loco, who I stream Fallout 76 on PlayStation with, like, I tried to watch his streams. No offense to him, I just don't understand what's happening in Hearthstone.
Right, and if the broadcaster's not telling you word by word or like move by move, which some broadcasters do, then you're shit out of luck.
Right,
as a non-player.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
Next would that be
Final Fantasy, right?
That'd be Final Fantasy, yeah.
Talk about your passion.
Man. This freaking game.
Big dicks, erect.
Trip, how do you want to talk about this?
6 to midnight. I'm fucking standing desk. Wait, this is only a visual gag, but I can absolutely make this fucking happen. Final Fantasy 7, baby. Anyway. Yeah, this game means a lot.
For audio listeners, Trip was raising his desk.
I was raising my standing desk. Yeah.
He was raising his standing desk. Coming erect.
God damn, dude. Like, we all play video games when we were younger, right? We've all grown up playing Mario and shit like that. When I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time, I was like, this is a game that's different than any other game I played. And it's the first time I've been so engrossed in a story. And it kind of opened my eyes that games like this were possible. Games could tell a story like this. They could bring you into a world. I felt like I was reading a book and just like controlling the characters and making the decisions for that. And I was so engrossed in that. And it literally changed my gaming life in terms of like the content that I enjoy. So to have that formative game come out 23 years later and not only just be redone, remade, but be like crafted in such a loving way that it even elevates the experience of the first one, I never thought would ever happen or be possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. This is my first PS1 game ever. I replayed that demo, which was the bombing run mission, over and over and over again until Christmas when I got the full game. And its memories are ingrained in my childhood up until today. And it's hard to go into this version of the game with like carrying that baggage, and being worried about like going, oh, is this going to live up to the expectations
you
that it
can't
holds?
not. You can't not from from where we come from.
I've made sure going into this game that I'm like going like, look, this is not going to be that game. It's going to be a reimagining, a retelling of that experience that I had when I was little. And honestly, like it is playing on my heartstrings on so many levels, doing so many different things. It's hard to like handle at times. You know, like it's hard because like when you first hear, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna spoil anything, but when you first hear the notes of like Eris's theme, it's like I'm instantly pulled back to that moment when I was little, to some of those like really strong memories that I had playing the original game, and seeing it translated into with these beautiful graphics and like these fully realized characters, and they are fully realized. They are expanding this world to a point where it's enjoyable to just like live and exist in this time again. It's like I'm like going, oh yeah, this is how I remember the 1997 version of this game. Like 100% trip. Where should we like even start with like discussing this? Like,
can I ask a question?
You can
absolutely.
You think if you step outside your bodies for a second, you think it's possible for somebody who never played the original 1997 version to play it?
1000%.
I think so. Yeah.
Which I think is one of the biggest achievements of this game. It's the way it walks the line between giving you every moment from the original. Now, caveat, what they're calling the remake right now is only going to go up to a certain point of the original story.
Right.
The original game was very long, and this game will be as well, but it doesn't cover every single story beat. We're actually stopping probably a third of the way.
Seems like a
quarter, a third, something like that, of the way through the game, where this one is supposed to end, and then we'll get another installment and maybe another installment.
But what I mean is, there's not some intro part, like right in the very beginning or something, that is like a jump off from like the last game.
No,
it starts literally at the same part Final Fantasy VII starts. It's like 100% recreation of the opening of the game.
No, I know, but
like
what I'm asking is 7? Does 7 have something in the very beginning that continues from 6?
No.
Do I have to have 6?
No.
So
for people that don't know Final Fantasy,
so
they're
Final
all separate
Fantasy,
entries.
They're all standalone games.
Okay, good.
They're all different worlds, different casts of characters, different.
That gives me context.
Yeah, but what Final Fantasy does is it shares similarities across its games that are very loosely tied. For example, names of characters like Biggs and Wedge. They're in every game. Chocobos, an animal that's native to the game.
Okay.
In every game, like just the monsters and all these things, the magic names, those are only shared between the games. So main cast,
so the games story generally take place in entirely different worlds, like a new fictional name, new kingdom, a new
a new threat,
totally from the ground up, new story. Yeah.
The only similarities it shares are those things.
Well, that's good. That makes me want to buy it even more.
Yeah, and that's like, because when you buy a Final Fantasy game, like, you know what to expect in that regard. You know you're going to get a sweeping fantasy. You know you can probably expect some large yellow chicken birds that you can ride. Just random things like that. Like, you can expect a certain, like, those things in a Final Fantasy game.
Has anyone tried to argue that they all take place in the same, like, planetary system? Or the same
I'm sure there are unification theories out there. Now, some games, Felix, do take place in the same like universe. Usually those are done by the same design teams. Like Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 12, for example, take place in the same universe. Tactics was out like in the mid 90s, I think. And 12 came out like what, 2004? I don't know. Random. I don't know. Could be wrong about a lot of those.
Loosely Final Fantasy 11 and 14 are connected somehow, I think.
Yeah. So, but regardless of the point, none of the things connect. You need no prior knowledge to play this game.
Yeah, that's fine.
At all. Yeah.
Yeah, the opening of the game is like a movie. They just throw you right into the driver's seat, and you're like, oh, they're in the middle of their first heist, kind of thing. Like that's like they thrust you into this like opening mission that is like heart pumping, and it's exciting to play, and that's
which is how the original game started too. So yeah, they've taken these moments from the game, the original, that you all remember, that you all played, and it gives all those moments to you without taking anything away and even making them better than they were originally. And in between all those moments, they expand the world, let you literally run around in full 3D realized areas, and give you more of the story. That's all the original design and creative directive team to this game. So it's the same people that made the first one.
That's insane. I actually know
So
that.
yeah, I was worried a little bit about a new team because like even if you have the blessing of the creator, you know, at a certain point you're writing fan fiction.
Mhm.
You're adding on to the game. If you have the same people that made the original game, that's not fan fiction. It's either what they wanted to do and could not due to limitations, or how they felt things should be.
Yeah.
So a really nice touch as well as to the fact you're getting all this stuff in between. They're rewriting some of how the story is told to you as a viewer and as a player. I think a lot of things are informed storytelling wise, the way we like consume TV and movies right now, like the way stories are written, the way we like to know stories, like multi intertwining storylines and pathways and flashbacks and forwards. Like they're interspersing these things in a way that's literally very visual, like you're watching a TV show or a movie. And the game was like that when it came out too. But you know, our tastes have changed, our palettes as audiences have changed, and it's just very visually and storytelling dynamic.
I honestly think video games align more with how people consume media in general than they ever have. Like,
Oh, for sure, I'd agree
you
with
know,
that.
back
Yeah.
in the day, I think people consumed media in larger chunks, and we've always been, because we're gamers, we've always been accustomed to consuming media in small portions. Play a little
Mhm.
bit, put it down. Play a little bit, put it. And with the advent of the what I would like to call the golden age of television, or in the golden age of television,
We are, yes.
probably the best TV I've seen.
Peak TV is also what people call it.
Peak TV,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
In this time period, like my gaming, I mean, Neo did say before the show that he's playing more games during quarantine
Then watching things.
than watching things, but
Mhm.
I am interchangeable. Like I can I'll watch half of a TV, go play a game, do a segment in a game, go back watch the other half of the TV. It's insane how interstitial I am with television and games.
Mm-hmm.
How I don't need to consume this entire chunk of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
I think what I was just saying it contributed to the conversation.
Sure.
I mean,
The
sure.
way
I
people
mean,
like to listen to experience stories.
Yes.
It ties in.
exactly. I think what this game also does with music is also
Ugh.
really exciting.
Dude, I know, man.
Because the music is a huge part of any of the Final Fantasies, but 7 in particular, for I know probably for you, Trip, as well, but for me, that shit is like in my DNA at this point.
It's my favorite soundtrack, dude. When I was young, I like got my parents to help me order the soundtrack from a Japanese website because you couldn't get it here, and I got this 4-disc hard copy soundtrack, all Japanese booklet. I had no idea what the fuck they were saying, but I was like, this is the music from the game, and I need to like go to sleep listening to this shit. It was like
I was at sleepaway camp when the soundtrack came out, and I wrote home to my mom to please order this soundtrack and send it to me while I was at camp, and she did. And I had this, I had the CD, I got it there, and that's when I listened to it. Like all the MIDI tracks, you know, they're all MIDI files, which was
you guys
amazing.
still have it?
Yes, 100%.
I have it digitally now, yeah. But I don't know if I have the CDs anymore. But
I was wondering.
I know exactly where my CDs are.
You have the physical copy.
I know. Yes, 100%. I know
So
exactly where they are in my parents' house in my room.
When the game opens with the bombing mission and you hear the opening like notes and the sound and that titles card hits and they nail it, like my heart like jumps out of its chest.
Yeah, and then the really cool thing as well is that they haven't just orchestrated these tracks, which were, you know, orchestral tracks just done in like a MIDI format. Like everything can be broken out to an orchestra, and they have many times. Like there have been albums of Final Fantasy music that's done by a full orchestra. They've done tours with these groups. I mean, it's music that's out there that you can find, and it sounds amazing. And they could have just done that. They could have just had people record the tracks with a full orchestra to like really amp up the feeling. But they've remixed every single track in different ways. Not even just rearranging the tracks, but they've like done different genres for different tracks. They've shifted the placement of music. It just, the re-recording, the rewriting is done so masterfully, and not even for tracks you hear in the background, which are incredible and amazing. There's also this facet of the game where you can collect even more kind of weird offshoot remixes of the songs and like have those tracks to listen to at a jukebox around the world. It's the music, like they really have understood how we like the music and have even highlighted it within their own game, minus the background.
And not only that, in certain sections when you're fighting and you're making your way through a level or an area, the battle music will subdue itself to a background version of itself. And then once you engage in a fight, the music will dynamically just ramp up into the full track of the classic fight music that done in the new orchestral way that they did it. And honestly, it's never felt better to get into one of those fights.
Everything there's guitar riffs that they throw in there. They layer with other instruments. It's done so well, because like you said, music is such a part of the emotion that you feel while you see these scenes and these moments in the game.
I mean, like slight spoilers. When I knew I was gonna fall into the church, I got so excited to hear the music again and just see that first interaction again. And that whole moment in that section of the game was like, it was beautiful, because I was like, oh my god, they're showing us the start of the relationship of these two characters. And it was like beautiful to watch it like play out in full HD. And I couldn't believe that I was enjoying this again for the first time almost. And the music's playing and you get to see the full scenery. You can see the plates above of Midgard.
Well, I was gonna say, what got me was the jumping across the rooftops. This game actually just walking all the way through.
100%. That's what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is. To give you and the listeners out there that don't know Final Fantasy a little bit of context to like some of the things that you can see now in the game that weren't as apparent in the original. It takes place in a city called Midgar, and Midgar, think of it like, they actually call it a pizza in the game. It's a really good analogy. Think of it like 8 pizza slices that are just metal plates that make up like the top level of the city. Every plate is a district. They're huge, massive. There's businesses, homes, residential districts. It's like a big, massive city that's floating on these plates, right? That's where essentially like the wealthy people live, the wealthy upper middle class, rich people. They're all living on the plates. Under the plates, under each plate in just continuous sections, are just these endless slums of shanty towns and poor people that can't afford to live up there, just homeless, just literally people just surviving because there is no space for them.
Wow, that's asking for a reign of terror. If I've
and there's no economic help or reason to help these people.
Bring out the guillotines.
There's a lot of economic disparity, and that kind of weaves in and out of where the story starts, because you start as a group of what are literally terrorists that are going up above to the Sector 1 energy reactor, and you're going to bomb it. You're going to literally bomb it because not only is all this shit, terrible for everyone down in the slums under the plates, but the way the Shinra company, who owns the city essentially, is powering the cities, they're sucking out the life energy of the planet, which is a tangible thing in this world. You can actually like plug something in the ground and pull the energy out of the earth. And they're powering the city with this, and that's where the story starts.
Yep.
But I'm coloring all this in because as you're running around the city now in full 3D, the way that you can see it around you and visualize your place under it is like overwhelming.
And not only that,
in the camera, look at the plates above, the central tower in the distance, the walls to the outside world that you're still trapped in. It's just it's wild.
And
that's
the game
wild.
even goes further to flesh out like Shinra in general. They show you the propaganda reach that Shinra has over the population. You hear the population talk about Shinra in a somewhat positive light, like, hey, they're providing for us, like they're the ones, they're giving us like what we need. And meanwhile, you have Barrett on the other side of that being like, no, they're destroying our planet, they're keeping us in this position, they're keeping us like trapped under their rule almost, because of them. And it's fleshing it out in such a beautiful way that you can pretty much visually understand now what the game was trying to convey back in the 90s.
And still did a really good job of conveying that, but just like they can highlight it so well and really kind of make the visual aspect a part of the story in really effortltless ways.
That doesn't even sound like they're hiding the metaphor there.
No. Oh, it's 100% metaphor. Yeah, that's very obvious metaphor.
Very sad.
Even it's funny because there's even back then in the 90s when this was like written.
So are all
right?
Final Fantasy games about strata?
Strata. What's strata?
Like
The stratum,
economic, social,
economic
stuff
stratum
like that.
of
Yeah.
society.
Yes
I'm sure
and
you can
no.
find there's absolutely parallels written. I'm sure some are more fanciful than others.
Let's talk about the combat a little bit.
Yeah,
Can we talk about that?
we can.
So they redid the whole combat system. Gone is the way of the turn-based. Wait your turn to shoot and attack out.
That's why I'm intrigued. Just so you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not a
it's not an
turn-based
input.
guy.
It's not. There are menus. There's a heavy
Yeah.
menu system in the battles, but it's very much action based.
I'm good with menus.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll talk about that later.
So
Okay.
the game straight off the bat shows you how action focused it is by letting you swing your sword away with Cloud. But then they go into depth about there's a stagger system and there's the magic you have. And for example, Cloud has 2 stances with which he can either single target damage a lot higher, or he can be quicker and move around and be more mobile with his attacks. And what you find out is, it took me a while to realize, like, I wouldn't say like too long, but it took me a while to get into the flow of how combat needs to work. Because once you get like a bigger party of people in your party, you have to really play up to your party's strengths and weaknesses. Because what you'll end up doing is you have these magic orbs called materia, and they get slotted into your weapons and items, and they'll unlock magic for you to use. And at certain points, enemies will have weaknesses to magic, and when you hit them with their proper weakness, they will stagger. And then that means you can do heavy amounts of damage to them. And until you get to that point, the battles will be fast and hard, and oftentimes very demanding of you keeping an eye on the situational awareness of the battlefield. Otherwise, you'll find that your characters will struggle. And like comparing this to Final Fantasy 15's combat, which was just button mash heaven for me personally. Like I felt like there was it didn't give me a reason to use magic. It didn't give me a reason to like really think about how I entered every fight.
If I remember 15, you could overpower any kind of strategic element they threw in there pretty easily, either by over leveling or just exploiting weakness or something.
Even the in combat mechanics of 15, they were like, okay, well, if you get overwhelmed in a fight, you can zip out by using your throw sword ability.
Oh yeah,
remember? And then wait till everything recharges and then come back in. But for this one, you have to wait for your ATB gauge to level, like reach its level 2 or 1 before you can start throwing out magic or potions or anything. So that means you have to engage in the combat before you can actually use any like recovery items. So it forces you to actually go, okay, well, do I want to switch to my ranged character right now so I can, get her like I'm thinking of like Aerith and Cloud's dynamic right now, because that's the
way she can throw magic from far away.
Right, and then wait for Cloud to get in there, and then I'll switch back to Cloud so I can start dishing out the real damage.
Because you can't even use items, Felix, without an ATB section.
Yeah, you need to do damage in order to fill these like little ATB bars up before you can use anything.
So you can always attack, but you can't use magic abilities or items unless you have at least 1 bar of ATB. Now it doesn't take long to fill, but of course, like Wendy was saying, the risk reward is like if you get close and you're low health and you need action points to get an item out, you could easily just get killed because maybe this enemy does a ground slam, or there's something burning on the ground that you run through, because you have to get close to actually connect your attacks. There's a lot of in the moment decision making to kind of optimize your gameplay, and if you don't make those decisions fast enough, you get easily overwhelmed very easily.
And time does slow down when you open the menus, so that is a pretty cool, like, I guess, mainstay of the old game. When you open menus, you can slowly make the choice of what you want to throw out and dish at your enemies. And I find myself most of the time, after like not every fight, but like most fights, I'm like, okay, I got to go rework my materia again, which is like kind of cool to engage with that system like that. Mm-hmm. But it ends up becoming like, okay, I need to give this character more wind, or I need to synergize. Like, have you gotten the synergy materias, like the blue ones?
Yes. Yeah.
So like those materials
where you link them together to.
Yeah. So certain items, what you can like link materia together, these magic orbs. So I could link like a power up synergy orb with a fire, and that will increase the fire and increase the resistance you have to fire. Or my new favorite one, Trip, is there's one that you attach the blue materia to a magic, and if the other character casts magic, the character that with that equipped will also cast that spell. So like it'll like double cast almost with using that character. So you can set up all these like automated, like semi-automated things for your combat. And it's visually very fun to watch too. I love watching just the fights play out. Makes it very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
100%. We did battle. We did music.
Another thing I like about how battles play out, like for like a few of the boss fights, just to cap that off.
Yeah, go for it.
They a lot of the boss fights end up being a very long endeavor. Like they're like you'll be in a fight for maybe upwards of like 20 minutes for certain boss fights. So it feels that way, and they turn to multiple phases. And I think one of my favorite ones was the I'm not going to spoil any of the future things, but the Sector 5 boss battle on the bridge. Is that Sector 5?
Yeah, Sector 5 was the airbuster. We ran through the sector before, or the reactor before, and you like mess with all the computer screens.
Yeah, and it was really cool leading up to that fight. You were like you were making choices through each of these laboratories, like, oh, do I want to remove this part of the boss because the president of the company is like taunting you throughout this, going to showcase the Avalanche, who is the terrorist group that you're a part of. They're going to showcase them being defeated on live TV, and you're going through the laboratory going like, okay, we're going to disable this robot they're going to throw at us, and in various ways, and you pick and choose which things to disable for it, and then you reach the boss fight at the end, and it's a big cool boss fight. And during that boss fight, it moves in different phases, and you have to like the boss will like back away from the platform, so your melee characters can't attack it. So you switch to Barrett, who's got the Gatling gun arm, and he's the one that can do your range damage for you. While the other characters will like their ATB gauge will ramp up again, so you can use them. You're like ready to use them again in the next encounter when he gets closer. It's very fun and very dynamic, and it becomes like a very fun chess game almost in some ways. A very quick chess game.
Like when Nia was saying, it's cool that fight did that because no other fight, at least that I've gone up to, had that much engagement before or after. There's so many differences in how you fight. Like there are fights where just you and one person, you have to really get up close and dirty and use all of your dodging and your defensive moves. And there's fights like that where you make strategic decisions before you even fight the boss as to how you may want it to attack you, and then kind of like lean into a real hard, just long chip away at the HP chess battle kind of fight. I mean, the diversity in battle is just, it's insane.
Yeah, and all the characters are play very uniquely too. Like Barrett, like I said, is the ranged Gatling gun guy. He can like charge his gun up. Tifa, who's a brawler fist fighter, she has a way. You'll use some of her her like character abilities to charge up her, I want to say her triangle move. And then that changes in various ways. Cloud is obviously the sword user with the single. He goes from like a quick like roll around and dodge sword attacks to like a focused, slowed down,
very slow but very powerful. Yeah,
very powerful. My favorite move, obviously, I say it a lot in your chat, Trip. Punisher mode and block, because
exactly.
Because if you're in Punisher mode, which is kind of grounds your character, but when you block, you'll counter any other physical moves that hit you, and you'll easily be able to retaliate. Which also every time I pull that off, it feels real good.
This is
Aerith.
Sorry, I have one question. This is a PC game for both of you?
PS4.
No, PS4.
Oh, PS4
right now.
Yeah,
there are rumors of a PC version, but there's no confirmation.
You guys classically played this on your
PlayStation 1, yeah. It was on PC.
Yeah, I actually played it for the first time on PC. I always like telling that story because I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, and I found this game at Best Buy, like on a trip there with my dad when I was mad young. And I had known about the series because a friend of mine was playing 9 at the time. And I loved watching him play 9. And I'm like, damn, it'd be cool to like get into this. And I would read like, EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. And I saw them like talk about, 8 was coming out at that, this is before that, obviously. I had always heard about the series. And I'm like, wow, I can actually play this if I buy this on the computer. So I'm just going to buy it on the computer. And I did. That's how I first played it. I played with like a weird 6-button gamepad that I had to map all the controllers out to, but I made it work.
That's hilarious.
Also, it's funny because since the music was MIDI based, my Gateway PC's MIDI card did not make the music sound the same that it did on the official PlayStation soundtrack.
What?
I wish I could have a copy of what I heard, because when I first heard the soundtrack, it sounded weird to me.
That was back in the day of like sound cards that had to do
Yes.
the actual sound processing on your computer before motherboards like had it built
So
in.
this
And
was
it processed
Trip, this
it
was your
differently.
first Final Fantasy game.
Yes, the first one that I actually fully
Might have
played
already
through.
said
Outside
that.
of like, yeah, like I may have played my friend's game a little bit, or
First one you
seen
owned.
things.
First one you.
Yes.
I think 6 was the first one for me. Funny enough, it's 3. It was called 3 on Super Nintendo. I think that was my first one.
Yeah, in the U.S. growing up, we only ever got Final Fantasy 1, 4, which they
And 6
put out as 2, and then 6, which they put out as 3, just to make it,
Yeah,
it
was very
for
confusing.
American audiences.
That was the one that you saw on my Super Nintendo.
Yes, you have
Classic.
Final Fantasy 6, which was marketed as 3.
Market is.
Mhm. But yeah, what else about 7 remake? It's really hard. I mean, like, I feel like I got so much I want to like talk about. Maybe we do a spoiler cast when we're done.
Yeah, we might have to. We finish the game.
I would love to do like a offshoot episode, just spoiler cast of games. That'd be pretty sweet.
I can't get over how well they're telling the story of the game. How well they're telling the story of Cloud, how well they're laying the groundwork for things we're going to discover
do you like
about
that
Cloud.
they're doing that? Like,
Yes.
because when I saw that at first, I was like, oh, they don't introduce this character till way later and make his importance known. I
absolutely love it because all that shit informs how Cloud acts and how he is and what he reacts to. And I feel like they're doing it in a way that might make the storytelling even easier and easier for us to understand as players, new or old.
Sure. Yeah, and it's making it more cohesive for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now the villain of the game is Shinra Incorporated, right? They're like the right now the villains.
Yeah, the big bad.
The game transitions like halfway through its story and into another, like it transitions completely away from that into something else completely.
Mm-hmm.
And the game takes like, it pivots, it does like a hard pivot and like comfortably. I would say it did it pretty well back in the day. So you're right, maybe it is setting the groundwork up for something like that nature that would be pretty cool. Oh my god, I want to play this game more. Holy shit. I just love being back in the world, Trip and Felix. It's just so cool.
I mean, you guys are selling me on it. I'm in quarantine right now. I got the minute Resident Evil 3's done, something else.
Maybe do it.
Can't just play Fallout all the time.
Maybe give it a try and see how you feel about it. You know what? There's a demo. Play the demo.
Play the demo. Download that and try it.
It's just free. Yeah.
That's the opening mission. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See how that feels. Cool. Do you guys want to move on then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
So we want to talk about Resident Evil 3 before we Wastelanders?
You're about ready to forget something really important to me.
He was about to be like, don't fucking skip over Wastelanders,
skip
dude.
it.
Don't you dare.
No, I definitely want to talk about Resident Evil 3 too, because I've been splitting time
Yeah.
between both of them. But you guys
Let's hear Wastelanders.
you guys didn't have any other games to talk about.
No, not
That's
me.
not-
I've
those
only
are
been
all-
playing
That's my
Final
list.
Fantasy.
So Neo, you want
Felix?
you want the good or the bad?
Oh, there's two parts. Okay, let's start with let's get the bad out of the way, and then I want to talk about the good.
Here's the absolute worst, the thing that I know that Neo Aoshi could criticize the most about the Wastelanders expansion.
Bring it.
Okay, so they released separate from the Atom Store for straight up fucking cash cosmetic content.
Isn't that what the Atom Store is for?
Right. There is a only achievable or found, it's not achievable when you're paying for it, only acquirable, I don't think that's a fucking word, but I'm making shit up now. It's only acquired through an outright purchase separate from the game itself, a $30 cosmetic package.
$30, dude.
What the balls?
So
well, you know what? They dropped you a free expansion. They got to take something out of it.
So
right?
there's two. So is it
But to be
free?
fair,
Is it really free?
They essentially made the game that they were trying to make in 2018. So I don't know about that.
So they dropped. It's called the Raider/Settler like cosmetic expansion pack. It adds camp stuff. There's a lot in it. I mean, the $30 is getting you for 15. You can get one of the factions. If you're only a Raider-minded person or a Settler-minded person, then you can buy just Settler stuff. But who the fuck would do that? I mean, then you don't get the ability to flip back and forth. But it has a lot of stuff in it. It has like a skin for power armor. It has an outfit that's unique to the Raider faction and the Settler faction. It's got a skin for your camp tool, that makes your camps, that you put down. It's got dude, it's all skins, bro. It's all cosmetic for $30 fucking dollars, bro.
Get out of here with that shit.
It's pretty bad, right? That's pretty bad.
He led with the bad.
It led with the bad,
which is admirable. He's like, let me just be right up front with you.
I'll tell you
like I say on most parts, I now train myself to ignore all cosmetic nonsense bullshit.
I'm just not somebody
because of this stuff.
I'm not somebody like I love Fallout 76 and I can play it for hours and I play it on 2 consoles and I have the Fallout First membership on both consoles. But like I can be critical of this fucking shit because that's the thing that looked obscene to me because this is stuff I couldn't earn atoms to get if I was a regular player who just didn't.
They've made it more exclusive.
Right. So anyway, so there's that. And then the other big criticism of mine would be that this is just a release of Wastelanders. This is not a patch of actual extant problems. They fixed nothing. They did not change UI. I personally was looking for loadouts, the ability to do perk card loadouts. I want the ability to say, right. I want my ability to do, this is my melee loadout. And then I flip a button and then go to my gun loadout.
Didn't we talk about this in like 2018 when this game came out? Like how much
I talked about it on Twitter fucking 3 or 4 weeks ago or before.
No, I'm talking about when the game came out though. Dude, like they need to have like your ability to swap your loadout cards so you can just have like different.
I sent a tweet to Pete Hines like 3 or 4 weeks ago that he responded to. The tweet was perk card loadouts, bro? ? At Pete Hines. And he responded and said, I'm waiting for them too, which I took to mean they're probably coming in Wastelanders because he's waiting for Wastelanders like I am, right? I know he's the guy who runs the company, but he also probably plays his own game.
He's the head of marketing. He's the head of
marketing.
And
then the Wastelanders.
He absolutely knew. He's like, I'm waiting too, man.
But Wastelanders comes out and it's not there. Now, is it coming in a patch in 3 weeks? Is it coming with another update further down the road that adds to the Wastelanders? Who knows? But that's what I want.
If you want,
I really want.
If you like, yeah.
There's also noticeable weird glitches that are very specific. So Fallout First membership, when you're in a private world, you can do this really cool thing when you normally play the game, where you go to the social menu, you see fast travel on your friends you're playing with, and you can fast travel to them from the social menu. Well, what happens when you're playing in a private world? This doesn't happen, as far as I know, in a public world. When you're in a private world, you lose the ability to fast travel to your team. It goes away. And you can't even hover over the person. And remember, fast traveling to locations costs you currency. It costs you in-game currency. The ability to fast travel to your teammates is hugely valuable if one person is halfway across the map, because it could cost you anywhere from 50 to 80 caps to fast travel to a really far part of the map. So if your friend is there and you can't fast travel to them, it's fucking annoying. And the only way to fix it is to completely leave your server, which sucks.
Wow.
Because if you leave your server, then you lose like possession of workshops, and you're not going to lose, if you leave the server, you're not going to lose the content that you built in workshops.
So are you trying to tell me that the server is actually making it more difficult to do things you can do outside a server?
No, I'm saying you go into a private world, and I've only seen it happen in private world. In all fairness, I'm not really at all.
You've enclosed yourself to the outside world.
I don't want to play with other people. Fuck y'all. You people are crazy. You're nuts. You're murdering me all the time. I don't want to do that. So I play alone. It's fine. It's how I choose to intake the game. But I think it's fucked up that this glitch hasn't fixed itself, with a Wastelanders patch, because, you would think that this isn't just a rollout of new content, that they would also address some of the known issues, and it is a known issue.
Here's how patches generally seem to go with most things. You fix 10 bugs, 100 more bugs show up, right? That's a general like developer's nightmare, but it's generally a thing that happens. So.
Well, I will tell you believe me, I only played like 3 missions of the new content, and I played on both consoles over the course of the last 2 days, and I've only been able to make it into 3 missions of the new content. But
Really?
yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I got to tell you why.
Go ahead.
So I'm very excited about this content. So getting into the good, right? Past the bad. And well, the one other bad thing is some of the missions in the new content are fucking bugged, but they're not game breaking. No game breaking bug. Like there was this mission where I had to get a death claw egg, and I fucking go to where the death claw is. It came out of the ground and just stood there, shot it until it was dead. I mean, like
That's easy.
that was for my benefit. That wasn't game
Right.
breaking. The next time I did that mission on a
I
completely
mean, that
different.
sounds game breaking.
Right. No, but like I was able
It's
to get
supposed to attack you, I'm assuming, right?
right, but I got the death claw egg and left. I was like, see ya. I killed the thing. The next time I played that on a completely different console, there was no bug. Like the death claw came out. He was scary as fuck. I was like level 6. I had to run. You know what I mean? But like, just little shit here and there. But anyway,
Mhm.
the thing that I have to state here about this expansion that will not be apparent to anybody, if you go into the Wastelanders expansion and play it like you played Fallout 76 prior to the Wastelanders expansion, you're doing it wrong. What sucks is they trained you to play Fallout 76 a certain way. Fast travel all the time. Fast travel is key. Go here. Do this as quick as possible. Don't be slow. Be as efficient as possible when you come into the game. Do workshops or do public events and just do one after another, and then the level grind works. You level and level and level and level. You play it that way. You're a player who's been playing Fallout 76 for years. If you're coming from previous Fallout, like Fallout 4 or any of the previous Fallouts, you're going to be fine if you're buying 76 brand new. But if you played 76 like I did from day one and pretty religiously throughout the last 2 years, and you come into this game and you play it like you're going to think that they didn't do much, but add some new stories. And because the problem is the fast traveling. You now have to slow down and play this like Skyrim. I did it. I didn't do it on my Fallout 76 Xbox experience. So many people who wanted to play. I have a much larger community with Fallout 76 on the Xbox. Everyone was coming in. We were playing it like we always did. We were going to workshops and leveling up and doing public events and all that shit. I played this today on PS4, slowed down and didn't fast travel once. I walked. I literally walked down the roads from location to location, and this game felt exactly like fucking Skyrim. Every 10 minutes.
It sounds like they enhanced what made those
every
single player
10
games.
minutes. Every
popular,
10
right?
minutes. Not even kidding. Now, this is not going to be the experience in a public server because there's players, right? I'm playing in a private world, Vault First membership. But man, every 10 minutes, I met a new random NPC who had some new story to tell me, some new fucking nugget of like weird. It was so amazing, dude. Today, like, I met a fucking random. I was walking along the road.
They made a Fallout game.
They made a Fallout game.
Dude, I was gonna say like,
That
they just took that away from you for so long. You're so thirsty for it. You're like, it's so great to have a non-player character in here.
So I go walking. I go
Story.
walking along. Here's some examples. I find this girl trying to fix a robot. I get 4 or 5 dialogue options. Wait, Neo's frozen. Neo's
back.
frozen. to me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So she says, help me fix this robot. She's freaking out. I can't fix my robot. There's like 5 dialogue options. One of them is put a fusion core in the robot. I didn't realize, but that was the bad option. The robot explodes. So like there's 5 dialogue.
Those are the moments that you
Right.
miss that I miss in Fallout.
I come along. There's a girl who's sitting there frustrated trying to open a box. She keeps kicking it. I'm like, what the fuck? I go up, I do dialogue options with her. Nothing. She says, go away, or something like that. I walk down the road, I go do a mission, whatever. I come walking back the road maybe 2 hours later. I come back this time with bobby pins in my possession, which I didn't have before. I do dialogue on her again. She goes, oh, you have bobby pins? Hey, can I get one? And I give her a bobby pin, and then she rewards me with something and opens the box. It was amazing. Like there's these moments that you get if you walk through the world. But the problem is old Fallout 76 players, people who've been playing for 2 years, are going to come in and do their normal grind bullshit. And you're not going to experience the new content. You're going to miss it. You're going to fast travel from location to location to location, and then the game's going to fucking suck, or you're going to think it's very similar to what you've already been doing. You have to shift and change.
Remember when we talked about the Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
And how when I was talking about it, I was like, I loved all these random things, and then that all these character interactions and moments, and then you murdered everyone in the game.
I did.
I'm sensing a little something similar to that.
Well, I will tell you,
you're experiencing now the full fleshed out vision of a Fallout game now.
Well, I will tell you that you can't murder. This is made by Bethesda, very similar to 3, very similar to 4, skipping over New Vegas because New Vegas was Obsidian. This game has essential characters. There's people you can't shoot. There's people you can't kill. You can't do that murder shit that I did with Outer Worlds and that I did with New.
No, but the comparison I was making was between the old Fallout 76 players who were just kill, grind, and the people who are experiencing the interactions that you have with these NPC characters.
But the most brilliant thing that I've seen is how populated the world is and how much it feels like a Fallout game that I played, like playing Fallout 3 or playing Fallout 4, However, in defense of this game versus 4, you don't have to be a good guy. There's 2 factions. This is more like 3 than anything I've ever played.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you could go full bad in 3. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, the Raider faction is essentially the bad faction, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some moral ambiguity as we go through the game and we play the Raider faction. You're going to find that there are some people on the Raider side who are struggling and they're really just they're going about the world their own way, and then you're going to find in the settler community that there's some corrupt fucks that need to die, all kinds of shit. But there is shit you can miss. That's the thing that I was talking to Kyle today after I had played through my PlayStation experience. I'm telling him about a quest that's like the second quest in. And I'm like describing the quest. He's like, I missed that. I didn't even play that. He's like, I'm so much further in the game. I said, dude, this game is going to require you to maybe roll 1 or 2, at least 2 characters, because there's going to be quests you're going to miss on the playthrough you're doing. You're going to find out from a friend that this quest option was possible and you didn't do it.
Do these new edition of quests make it easy for friends to do together?
So yeah,
is it co-op friendly?
So there's an answer for that, and that's the instanced interiors. So when you come up to it, the way it does work is everyone does their own thing. You're still doing your own quest lines, but and I haven't done this at the exact same time as a friend because I'm not. None of my friends are at the exact place I'm at. But when you go to a building, if you're on a team, you could choose to enter as a team. And then whoever is the team leader will be the one who is positioned directly. But the other people on the team can choose to hear the dialogue that's being spoken for the quest. I don't.
How does loot distribution work?
I mean, that's,
like if you're a team of people.
That's been instance.
Okay, all right.
Everyone has their own instance of loot.
Okay.
The only time when loot is common is if it's external to a box or external to a quest. So if it's like laying on the ground, someone can grab it and no one else will get that item. But that there's never ever good stuff that comes in that form. You'll never find a legendary laying on it. At least not in the previous Fallout 76 that I played. Maybe in the new content there might find legend that way, but I doubt it. But I think everyone still has to do all the quests. If you want the dialogue options, you have to be the team leader if you're in a team, I think.
Okay.
Or just do it separate from your team, which is what has happened. So, like, I play with my buddy Splorence. Splorence is way ahead in the quest lines than I am. He's gone off in his own direction, made his own decisions. He's doing that.
So he'll just join you on your.
He's
your
on my
quests.
team. I will tell you that nobody gets. We used to get experience from each other's quests. So if you completed a quest, you would get a couple hundred experience. If you were on the team, but you weren't the primary quest holder. Now it's caps. Everyone gets caps, so you earn currency. Not that this world needed more hemorrhaging currency. Already fucking so much of that. They already have a currency problem, but now they have another. It's not a lot. It's like 25 to 50 caps per your friend completing a mission.
Mhm.
But it used
So
to,
they benefit in some form by doing older quests with you.
yes, people are benefiting in some form, but I don't know the extent of benefits.
Mhm.
Haven't done it. And like I said, when I came in on my Xbox character, I wanted to see how they changed all the extant shit, the shit that was already there. So I went back and checked out all the old quests. Now they're pretty much all the same. They all function and are completed in the same capacity, except when you get to the individual locations, there's now NPCs you can talk to that add color to the old quests. Like this is the best example.
Cool that they filled in the backfilled information.
So this is the best example. There's a character named Maria Chavez, and people who played the game is when you find her, she's a dead body. She's just laying in the fucking airport building, Morgantown Airport. You find now when you go into the room where her body used to be, her body isn't there. There's a vigil, like on the table with fucking candles. And like the holotape that you would find on her body is now in the center of the vigil of candles. So it's like, that's
Wow.
that's a one way that they changed it. And then there's a guy there that you can talk to. So I start talking to this dude who's there, and he's like, "Yeah, I cleaned up the place a little bit, made that vigil for that nice woman, buried her body out back or some shit like that." And I start talking further. I'm like, "So what are you doing here?" Because he's in the center of a room that's on a second floor, and downstairs there's nothing but scorched enemies that you traditionally would have fought there, right? So I go, how'd you get in here and survive past all these scorched? And he goes, "Doesn't matter, man. I got cancer." And like I go through this whole thing where I find out this guy has cancer.
Holy shit.
And it doesn't matter if the scorch get him because the cancer's probably going to kill him first. And I'm like, this is really
bringing back the weird, and I'm liking it.
I was like, this is so fucking tragic, man, this guy. But yeah, so I'm not going to spoil much more, but
Well, Felix, I'll have you know I reinstalled this game.
You did. I wish I could play with you, but I don't have it on PC. But I heard that a couple of our friends in the emerging gamer excited about it again. And
yeah, I'm thinking I'd try and like join them or just like pop in and see how it feels.
As I understand it, most of the original jank, the problematic game-breaking jank that existed in like the first year, all of that has been patched out. The only thing I can't confirm is because I don't play PC at all, is if any of the known player, when you're in a public world, the player exploit stuff that happened like mid last year, I have no idea if any of that on PC has been patched. It was all a PC problem. Somebody had exploited the code and made it so that they could literally go up to you, see you, and take from your inventory, which was fucked up. And I have no idea. You got to talk to PC players to confirm if that shit's been fixed if you're going to play in anything but a private world.
Like literally steal your inventory?
Yes. They could literally walk up in PC and take your shit. So if you had a legendary you loved and they liked it, they'd see your inventory and take your shit. So like I don't know if that's been fixed. I don't know what the status of that is, but there's a lot of like weird shit on PC that I can't confirm because I haven't played.
I'll tell you what, if I play this week, I'll give you an update, a PC update.
Yeah, but like the shit that happened to you in the first week, where you got trapped in your power armor, that's been patched. Like I've never seen anybody having that issue.
It's like a weird predator alien.
Yeah, like they're just a bunch of fucking stupid shit that the game runs more stable at least on the consoles than Fallout 4 ever ran. Like it's more stable than Fallout 4. If I drop out, if we all drop out, we're back playing again in under 3 minutes. Like I've never had an issue reloading back into a server and playing the game. So, but that's the status of where that is. I don't think I could say anything. I'm really happy about it, and I'm going to keep playing it.
Let's talk about where you're at with Resident Evil 5.
I mean 3.
3. That's what I meant. Sorry, I was looking at another number.
You had something coming?
3.
You telling me something?
4 was rumored. 4 remake is a rumor.
Here's what I want to hear
news.
before you tell me.
The show spoiler for our own show.
Before I tell you where I am and what I've achieved in that game, what is the criticism that people have of this game?
So
3
of 3, yeah.
No,
And there's been a lot. So more or less, comes down to a lot of people believe this game should have probably been a DLC for 2 in some ways, which I can disagree with in some ways.
But isn't it Isn't this an exact rip of the previous game? Is that the model that they had originally?
So they made a lot of changes to this version of 3 that actually aren't even in the this game is not a full remake of 3. They changed a whole lot. There are entire sections of the original 3 that aren't in this game at all.
Oh wow!
Okay,
I didn't know that.
And there were actually moments, instead of the Nemesis just being a constant event-based threat that happens in this version of the remake. In the old one, he would show up at random times, and then you would have to the game would kind of freeze, and you would make split decisions on what you would do next.
Oh, okay.
And then it would be like jump out the window or hide in this room, it would change the ending almost. It would change various events that played.
None of that exists in this game.
And if you stayed and fight the Nemesis in the old game, you could actually get more ammo or a weapon. Sometimes he'll drop
that exists
good weapon.
In the game. That totally exists.
Oh, if you stay and fight him. I played on normal. I ran away from him most of the time.
Oh no, you can knock cases out of him. You knock cases out of his body, and the cases provide you weapon upgrades, weapon attachments. I don't think a weapon dropped from it.
Gotcha.
But attachments that improve the weapons you currently have drop from his cases.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. But a lot of I never really fought him, which is why I always just ran. But anyway, a lot of the problems that I see a lot of reviewers have and other people is that it's really short, and the fact that they charge a full price for it kind of itches them, and no one cares about the Resistance add-on multiplayer.
Compared to 2, it's short.
Right? I won't play it.
Yeah, very much.
I won't play that Resistance.
And a lot of people are they're dragging that thing through the mud because it's not great, that a multiplayer apparently.
Oh, is it bad?
Yeah, apparently it is. I've seen a lot of different various gameplays and reviewers talk about it. I don't feel like I had it installed and I was going to play it, but I uninstalled it because I'm not going to waste my time with that. But the problems that I had with it whereas Resident Evil 2 was a really fleshed out revisioning of Resident Evil 2, and it felt good. The puzzles were really engaging and fun. It made me think about how I traversed the world, and made me rethink it with Mr. X. Mr. X provided a very tense, very good experience in that whole game. And this one, I just felt like I was being ushered along. The puzzles were very quick and easy, and it didn't really require me. There's very minimal backtracking in the game, because then once you're out of an area, you're kind of in the next area with this one. And it kind of felt that it was just kind of holding my hand until I reached the end of the game. I was playing on normal, but there were points where I never felt challenged. I felt frustrated fighting Nemesis in certain fights, much like you were, it seemed, in various fights that he was having.
My hardest run through was the standard run through. And I thought when you told me that there was going to be criticism of the game, I didn't even realize, because I never played the original, never. So I have no context.
People complained about Nemesis being not a fun villain to encounter, either via boss fight or via the random encounters that he would show up at.
I have no experience with the previous, so I didn't know anything was cut out of it. All right. So I can definitely align fully that this seems like it's just an extra storyline that took place while the Resident Evil shit was happening. Actually,
it's after.
It seems like a prequel, though. It's not a prequel?
No,
aren't some sections both before and after? Depends on.
It can't fucking be after
at
all.
You're right.
It can't be after at all. Or the one guy.
No, you're right. You're talking about the police officer.
Not even just that. The police officer and the fucking guy in the shop. The guy in the shop kills himself.
Yep.
The gun shop.
That's right. It is during, isn't it?
It's during.
Oh, it's so weird.
So the argument can easily be made that this is just some other DLC for that other game where you just play as a different group of characters that are in the same city while the shit is down. My hardest playthrough, my absolute hardest playthrough, was the standard first playthrough that I have now completed this on hardcore in an hour and 22 minutes with an S rating.
What wild what a wild whiplash of experiences that you must go through.
But
when it
we've
comes
seen
to-
this before.
Yeah.
With
We
Mr.
totally
Hergen.
have.
So tomorrow I'm
It's
gonna
insane.
I don't tomorrow I'm gonna do the nightmare playthrough, which unlocks after the hardcore. In the night, I heard there's not much different from hardcore and nightmare,
Wait, Felix,
other than damage output.
I gotta ask you something though. You played 2. You mastered Resident Evil 2.
I
You
did.
became a master of Resident Evil 2.
And I'm pretty much mastering Resident Evil 3.
How did you come into Resident Evil 3 on normal mode and struggle like that? I have to know.
What did I struggle the most with?
Because you knew how the mechanics are very similar. Like
right.
the dodge mechanic, take it or leave it, right?
But the dodge was bad.
Yeah.
But it's intentionally bad. And I didn't understand that until I got out of the end of the game. Until I completed it and unlocked the shop, I didn't understand shit about why the dodge was bad. The dodge is bad is because there's a tool that you unlock in the shop that gives you a better dodge. The better dodge is locked behind a wall.
So the game encourages you to replay the game. It's most of the hours that you'll put in are via replaying the
anyone
the
who
campaign.
plays this game one time isn't getting their money's worth and did it wrong. Because
I'm not going to play it again.
I'm not telling you to.
Yeah. Oh, but like 2 gave me a reason to keep playing it again,
to play the other story.
Yeah, true.
Which, you know, incidentally was not a completely different story. It was pretty much the same story, just with a character, which is my biggest critique of the first one. But that's beside the point. Yeah, like both of them encourage you to replay, but there's more of an encouragement because it's an alternate storyline. I was expecting Carlos to be in an alternate storyline. Not, he's just part of this. But yeah, so in that respect, I completely understand the criticisms 100%. Regardless of that, I'm still enjoying it. I still enjoy it. I like the shop thing, but I thought the biggest criticism you were going to tell me of this game, not knowing anything about the changes from the past, I thought the biggest criticism was it's too easy. When you finish the standard run, which is the hardest experience, you can farm to unlock all the fucking most powerful weapons. The reason I got through in an hour and 22 minutes through hardcore is because I banked the points and got the unlimited rocket launcher.
To be fair, Felix, I played it on normal and I thought it was too easy even then. The game never challenged me in any way.
Well, you're just better at video games than me.
I'm not saying that to be like, yeah, screw your normal run, Felix. But like I beat it in like 4 hours and like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
My first playthrough, and that was me just calmly
I
making my way
hated that.
through. I wasn't rushing.
I hated that. I wasn't rushing either. I hated that arena fight at the end more than any fight that I did. It wasn't strategic. It was just
it wasn't.
It was fucking a nightmare of that stupid dodge not working and me dying instantly.
Yeah, and all the boss fights are like, okay, what's the stupid thing it wants me to do to end this fight? Like, it's not like I'm like just you don't just put bullets in him, right? Like there's like it became apparent that it was like, okay, he's gonna do something to expose something to let me shoot him, and then that's the fight. Like that's it. There was no tension in the fight.
You think that's different than Resident Evil 2 remake?
The difference is Resident Evil 2 had tension to the fights, and there was nothing scary about Nemesis to me at all. Like there was nothing. I never felt like, oh, this is the part where Jill's gonna get her shit kicked in, right? Like she was always in control. They give you a grenade launcher very early. Like it's like nothing felt challenging. But when you come across like William Birkin in the other game, I'm going through corridors. Oh shit, he's gonna jump out here and swipe me, and then that's the fight, right? Like in that.
You just wanted more surprises from Nemesis. You wanted him to be random more.
Well, yeah, and the game like became it's just more an action focused game. It's less of like the survival is not there, right? Like they throw items at you like all the time, and like you're in a boss fight because the area is surrounded with herbs and ammo.
Hey Neo, I haven't done it myself, but I'd like to see you try a knife only playthrough.
You know what? You got it, buddy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that just for you.
I'm sure the knife glitch that there was a knife glitch that you could do. In fact, one of the playthroughs I did of Resident Evil 2, I did on one of the boss fights. The strategy to do it fast enough was to just knife him to death. And like I don't remember what fight it was. Oh, it was the one in the beginning that was in like that underground facility area, and he's stalking around after you. Like you could just stab him over and over again to finish that knife fight in like under a minute.
Oh my god.
To finish that fight in under a minute. But anyway, so tomorrow I now have. These are all the things I have unlocked. I have the I have the unlimited rocket launcher unlocked. I have the recovery coins that you can put in your inventory that make your health recover. I have the defense coins that make you. I took, dude, in my hardcore playthrough, I took 6 solid hits from Nemesis in a corner with the defense coins and didn't even go to caution. Like these defense coins are so OP, dude. So I got those unlocked for the Nightmare playthrough. The only thing that I think is going to be a challenge at this point is the Inferno S run, because I can only rely on manual saves. Basically, I got to know where to. I have to strategically manual save because
Like
there's
the
no
classic game.
right. There's no auto save.
Yeah.
So basically, I already have in my head what points I should save at. But you remember, you still got to do it in under an hour. But I did the hardcore in under an hour, under 2 hours. I mean, I did the hardcore run in an hour and 22. So there's like a lot of breathing room there. There's a lot of breathing room because I know exactly the strategy, what I can avoid. You know, I do like the fact that I could possibly do both the Nightmare run and the Inferno run in one stream session. I do like that. The game fits nicer with streaming because I can just say, oh, well, I'm going to be done the Nightmare run in an hour and 22 minutes potentially, or an hour and 30, or whatever it takes, which is good for a stream because I'm not going to be sitting there for hours wondering whether I'm going to boss. You know, if I don't do it, I don't do it. I cancel out and I or attempt it again. That's fucking
cool.
crackers.
Well, I look forward to seeing you do that.
Yeah, I'm going to try that tomorrow, so good luck.
So we're running a little long, so let's just go quickly into this next piece of news that is Resident Evil related.
I know.
You ready? So it has been rumored, or it's reported that they are working on Resident Evil 4 as a remake now.
Can we call these reveals at this point?
Reveals, yeah. I love that. That's good.
Reveals.
You can have that.
Were you saving that? Were you saving that one?
No, I thought of it right now, literally.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. I love that. So apparently the team for this one is larger than both remakes together. And M2 is the lead on this one. They helped a lot with RE3, but yeah, this is a massively large team. And I remember last week we talked about this. I was like, I don't think they need to remake this one because it's still very much like a modern feeling game, but they're doing it anyway now. So we're getting that one next instead of Code Veronica, which is unfortunate. What do you guys think? Would you play a remake of this game?
Yeah. I mean, before this rumor came out, someone asked me if I would, and I was like, I don't think it needs it. Actually, it might have been in the show that we were talking about it, maybe
last week. Yeah.
But I would. I definitely would. I loved 4. 4 was my first. Talking about first Final Fantasy was 7. My first Resident Evil that I actually played was 4. All the way through. Wow! So that's a lot of strong memories tied to that one too.
Prior to 1 and then 2, I didn't play 3, and the next Resident Evil I played was 4.
Yeah, I played 4 on the Wii, and that was fun as shit, dude.
Yeah, dude. The aiming system.
It was amazing.
Did they release 4 on the Xbox?
4 has been on every console
everything.
Ever.
Yeah, I think I tweeted something actually a couple days ago that was like, it was like, you know, you can only pick 2, but like it's like everyone's doing the, you know, you pick 2 or 3 things at this point. This meme on Twitter, but it was like all of the same screenshot of Leon from like all 9 or 10 different releases of like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
so
it's been HDified. It's been on every console. You could probably play on your phone, probably
on the Switch. I think most recently didn't it come out on the Switch? Yeah.
Which is why I'm like I didn't think it needed it because you can literally access it. It's accessible everywhere. But 4 did a lot to like change the way modern like third-person shooters felt. Like that was a defining game in its own right.
Yeah, I think I remember that was the first time I played a game where the camera view was like over the shoulder, and I was weirded out by it. I was like, "Do I like this?"
Yeah.
But then I played on and loved the whole fucking game.
It also, I want to say it was one of the games that popularized QuickTime events. I think it was one of them. Was that like in God of War?
Popularizing is such a choice word to use right there.
Choice word, I know. Well,
yeah, it's not. They're not very popular. QuickTime events kind of suck.
Yeah, no one's like I expected more in these Resident
Did
Evils,
4
but they
have
didn't
some
have
kind of like element similar to Nemesis and Mr. X, like a big bad
Mm,
that came in, fucked you up? I don't remember.
there's a villain, but no, those games
There's
are
no,
less
there's no
horror.
mechanic like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
4 was still like horror based, but they ramped up the amount of zombies that you went through and put more focus on you clearing a room of zombies as opposed to avoiding zombies. There were still choices you had to make where you had to avoid them or should to save yourself, time, energy, money, equipment, whatever. But I think every zombie could be killed with provided ammo as long as you didn't waste it.
and they would. So actually, this is a really fascinating YouTube video I could recommend to you guys. But there's an actual dynamic difficulty in Resident Evil 4 that actually adjusts
Oh, there
the
is.
better you play.
Yeah.
And not to mention the enemies will drop
is.
ammo and whatever items you need if you need it. And this video, it's I think it's a Mark Brown video on YouTube, and it's really cool because let's say you're having a problem clearing a room and you keep dying, that room will dynamically adjust itself, kind of make itself a little bit easier, add less enemies, reposition them for you, and it would think about how you play and what items it considered what you had in your inventory and your health,
Exactly.
which is
Wild.
it's so cool. Felix, I'll send this video to you guys. I'll
Yeah,
post it in our
for
game
sure.
chat.
Please do.
This is one of my favorite YouTubers who does he looks into game mechanics and how games are designed, and it is super fascinating what 4 does. But anyway, look forward to that in 2022, I believe they said. So that should be cool.
That'll be fun.
The last story for the night, before we wrap it up, I want to talk about this because this is fascinating, and I want to hear what you guys think about this.
Yeah, rip it.
Over the past week or 2 weeks, there has been a new Cooking Mama game called Cooking Mama Cookstar.
So you're clear, I have never heard of Cooking Mama to begin with.
Wait, seriously?
Wait, really? Are you serious?
I don't even know what it is.
Hang on, I'm gonna post this so you guys can, or at least Trip can see this. So apparently, this was a game that was coming out on the eShop, and PlayStation. It was rumored to come out on PlayStation because the box art leaked for it. But what ended up happening was they pulled it without explanation, and rumors had that it was actually mining cryptocurrency on your Switch. It would heat your Switch up and drain your battery super fast. So it would cause your game to get super hot.
Holy fucking shit.
I know this is really crazy, but apparently that was all false rumor because the president or the head of this company or the publisher doesn't really understand how this works and just put out a false statement about it or something. So so here's the quote. The statement about cryptocurrency was all buzzwords. The head of Plant Entertainment knows very little about these things. He just put some fancy language to get potential investors who like that stuff. As for the crashes / overheating, that was because the game was made in Unity by many people working on their first game. It's not the best product to be made, but it made it through several vigorous reviews by Nintendo and Sony. There's no way crypto mining stuff could get through those tests. I doubt anyone would even be able to make such a thing. So that slashed that rumor right away. But what ended up really happening was the game was apparently of such little and low quality that the publisher decided to not release the game, but the developer ended up pushing it through anyway, and it got through certification anyway, which ended up causing it to get pulled. And now a lawsuit is involved between the publisher and the developer of this operation.
Jesus,
of Cooking Mama. Yeah. So this is the craziest thing ever, right?
So do we think someone actually snuck this kind of process into the game, and then the game director or
there is no cryptocurrency miner.
Oh, there's not. Okay.
It was all a false flag. It just was poorly. It was a poorly optimized and poorly made.
Just really terribly. Got it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, it's is there? Did someone actually sneak the shit in and was fucking?
No, it's false flag.
Mining all this currency.
I mean, to
Which
me,
is nuts, dude. That's like a movie plot right there. If that was real.
Yeah, right.
It just looks like one of those fucking shitty mobile games. Just keep it.
That's
wait
kind of
for
the
a
aesthetic
timer.
of Cooking Mama. I think its first iteration was Facebook or something. It was a Facebook
Was it
game.
really?
Started, I think. It was something like that.
I know it as a Wii game, like a game on the Wii, as a motion control game where you'd be stir the pot.
No, I'm thinking of Diner Dash. Yeah, I'm thinking of Diner Dash. That was a Facebook game.
Cooking Mama's like on the. I remember from the Wii version, it was stir the pot. Okay, you did it. Add the potatoes.
Right.
You did it, and and they had you do all these things.
Oh, I have seen people playing this game.
Yeah. It's hard not to.
So I associate that.
I didn't know what it was
IP
called.
heavily with the Wii and the Nintendo consoles. But this is too funny because now there's a legal battle between all these people, the IP holder, the publisher, the developers. Like they're all in this battle because they wanted to release it. The developers forced the release through. The IP holder said no. The publisher's too dumb to realize it. Like it's like a mess, and I love it. I think it's amazing. And the best part about the story, you guys, this was all an exclusive via ScreenRant.com.
Screen Rant.
They got the exclusive.
Oh, did they?
Quotes, yeah, on this story.
Oh, good for
Well,
them.
at least it's a reputable organization.
Are they?
What's
I don't
wrong with
know. I don't know.
Screen Rant?
I don't know what's wrong with Screen Rant.
It's not gaming. Yeah.
Oh, it's not
Nothing
gaming.
wrong with- yeah.
Got it.
It's not gaming related, which is the funniest part.
That would be weird.
But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit because holy, what a cluster F.
It's silly. It's silly shit.
Well, that was a show.
That was a
definitely
show.
a show.
It's like what, an hour and a half? Yeah, hour and a half.
Nailed it.
I did say
Nailed it. guys.
247, right? I didn't say 274, right?
I think you were right.
7?
Yeah, I think you
Well, it's the show definitely has a number, and you just listen to it.
did.
So thank you for that.
I'll sign it out. This is Felix
Oh, yeah.
Hergood. You can catch me at Felix Hergood on Twitter, at Felix Hergood, or Felix Hergood on Twitch. Felix Hergood. And right now, my primary streaming game is definitely going to be Resident Evil 3 and Fallout 76 Wasteland. Maybe I'll download the Final Fantasy 7.
Try that demo, dude. I want you to
Maybe.
try it.
Yeah,
Yeah, do the demo. Let us know what you think.
I'll try it out.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. I've been Neo Ayoshi. You can find me at twitter.com/Neo_Yoshi and twitch.tv/NeoAyoshi. Yeah, I'm playing we're gonna be playing Monster Hunter. I'm playing Final Fantasy 7 to completion. I'm gonna get through it. I'm playing a whole bunch of other shooters and stuff. All kinds of good stuff like that. So yeah, so check us out there. I actually am forcing Ezriv's guest of the show to play Monster Hunter with me. So please look forward to that.
Nice.
I'm forcing her to. I'm dragging her, kicking and screaming. It's gonna be a good time. All right.
She
Shrek,
doesn't
go
like
ahead.
Monster Hunter?
She likes Dauntless, and I'm trying to change that.
Oh, okay. That's not good. To talk about it later.
Sure.
And I'm Trip Zero. You guys can find me streaming exclusively on Mixer, mixer.com/TripZeroTV, and I'm on there. Schedule at this point is 12 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we are doing Final Fantasy 7 Remake entirely until we've 100%ed it. So we've done all the things that there is to do. We're going to do it because I love it, and it's been an amazing, fun time. So that's where you can hang out with me. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
See you guys.